May 9th, 2018. Merrick, how you doing? I told you last night that I would be stopping the article videos for a little while in favor of talking about what to do in certain situations. And the first one I'm going to talk about is, excuse me, the allergies are acting up, is releasing prisoners from FEMA camps. Now, I've had a YouTube channel for, this would be my fourth year, I think. Maybe, maybe fifth, but I don't think so. I think it's my fourth year. And I talked about this stuff when I first started, but those videos, they got deleted by YouTube. So some of the subjects I'm going to recover, some of them I'm not. This subject I'm going to cover because I think people are going to need it. All right. So let's, for the sake of argument, say you found a concentration camp, a re-education camp, whatever you want to call them. I'm not going to argue with you about the existence of these things. They do exist, and there's plenty of evidence. I know firsthand, for sure, 100%, because my dad, once again, my dad was a inspector for these camps. He has secret clearance, all that stuff. Okay, so okay, so we have we find a concentration camp and we want to get people out. What do? The first thing you need to do is send a team of recon specialists, and they'll go and gather as much information about the target as possible. How many people are in there? What kind of weapons do they have? How many guards? So on and so forth. You want to know every detail you can possibly know. When is shift change? Is there a shift change? Right? Now, these places are going to have guards walking around the outside perimeter. But what do you do with these guards? You can't alert the people inside that you're there, right? Once you get all your information and you move forward with your operation, you don't want them people to know you're there. So you're not going to be able to use a firearm to start off with because they'll hear you. Even so-called suppressed firearms would be heard. So you have to use stealth to take out the people on the perimeter. You have to use a knife, and it's more personal that way. But if you use a firearm, you will be discovered, and your whole operation is blown. So once you get in there, you don't want to leave anyone living. Any of the people that are holding the prisoners. You don't want to leave these people living because that gives them the opportunity to get revenge on you. And believe me, they would want to after such a humiliating incident. So you don't want to leave these people living. I know that's a harsh thing to say, but they are your enemy, and they are now, and they will be more so your enemy when the day comes. So after you've gotten everybody, and this is totally possible, people. This is totally possible, and um, probably will be necessary. You once you take care of all the guards on the perimeter, you move into the inside. You want to know how many buildings are on that property. You want to know who's in these buildings. You want to know um, everything, everything possible. That's why you want to send a recon team first and let them observe everything for a good period of time. You don't want to just have them there for a day. You want to have them there watching for a while, like at least a week. Now, when you go, you want to use two-man teams, depending on how large your group is. Now, if you have a decent sized group of, say, 100 guys, you can split off in two-man teams. You can use snipers once you get inside the perimeter, and then you assign each set of persons to a specific building. They make their way to these buildings and breach them and kill whoever's inside, guard wise. Now, when it's all said and done, you don't want to leave anything behind useful to the enemy. You want to take everything possible, so you want to have a way to remove supplies from this place. Whatever you can get and whatever you can't take, you destroy. You don't leave anything behind for the enemy to use. You destroy it. Now, I understand that this is just a nutshell kind of deal, but you really should be thinking about what's going to happen to people. And I know I haven't talked about this stuff for a long time. I became complacent. I let it linger in the back of my mind, but we need to remember that these places are built. We need to remember that there's trains waiting for prisoners. There's internment camps waiting for prisoners, if not already, if they haven't already don't already have them, and they have all the stuff in place to do what everyone has suspected they're going to do. The infrastructure is there. As a matter of fact, it's the only infrastructure that any money has been spent on. So, and we're talking about billions of dollars being spent on giant internment camps. Um, and then of course we had the WalMarts that were converted into these um, holding centers. I went to Walmart recently, and I looked around, and I thought to myself, God, you really fit a shitload of people into this building, and you could. I mean, they're huge. They're huge. I know a lot of people like to think that all of this was debunked. It has not been debunked, okay? It's real. And I think that it would be a perfect opportunity under Donald Trump for this to happen. I mean, think about it. All the people who were talking about this 3 years ago aren't saying shit now because they're guys in the office. They're mans up there. Of course, the more cynical among us understand that that's exactly the kind of circumstance that needs to be created um, to make that happen. Let most of the people drop their guards and bam, strike. That is the thinking of the government. That is the way they think. You should remember this. You should remember that these people have bad, bad intentions for you. They have bad intentions for all of us. Do not give up your firearms. Do not give them up. You're going to need them. Do not hand over your machetes or anything else. You're going to need them. Unfortunately, nobody knows when. Nobody knows when. And that means you need to be ready at a moment's notice. Because for all we know, we'll wake up one morning and it will be happening. For all we know, we can get a knock at the door at 4 o'clock in the morning and that'll be it. And let me tell you, once you get captured, you're probably not going to get out. You're probably going to die. So, if you don't have a group, you don't have a whole bunch of friends like me, I feel bad for you. It's going to be a lot harder for you. Especially if you're not experienced in surviving bad stuff. Yeah. And a lot of people out there will say that this stuff isn't real. They will. Maine Prepper is one of them. But it's real. It's real. They have the job assignment, or they have the job ads for these jobs. They have the legislation, and of course they have the physical location. So anybody that tells you that these places aren't real, anybody who tells you their intent isn't what we've heard, they're fucking lying. Pure and simple. And if you don't think a group of Americans can beat a military, I'd like to point out to a recent war game where a retired general managed a ragtag small army. It was meant to simulate what would happen in like an Afghan country with small rebel groups, and the military got their fucking asses kicked by that general. The general was supposed to let them win, but he didn't do that, and they got their fucking asses kicked, which means, you get the right people fighting back, there is a very, very good chance of victory. We can't let this happen. We can't. You think the scale of Nazi Germany was horrifying. The scale of this is way, way beyond that. We have we have the ability to kill 1 million people quickly. Remember that. It's easier to kill 1 million than it is to control 1 million. Kill the state. Live free.